My name is James. I'm 17 years of age and currently going to the Weymouth High School. This is a story of my experiences with bullying throughout my life, at school and at home. This will also tell you about my Rachel Challenge experience. At the most, what you will hear might shock you and even anger you. But in the end, you will see I don't let people get me down like I used to. And I know I can accomplish anything if I put my mind to it. And now, without any further delay, this is my story.
This is just another day in the life. 7 flight connectors, past due bill collectors. This is just another day in the life. More money, more problems. I ain't got money to solve them. This is just another day in the life. Getting mobbed by fans. Man, nobody even knows who I am. This is just another day in the life. This is just another day in my life.
Abigail Adams was the school I went to, and it wasn't a picnic for at least 3 years. Soon, people would bully me for being different. Being different how? Well, basically being me. I have autism, which is what most of the kids picked on me for. Meanwhile, they were acting foolish and dumb. Even though I knew that, the harsh names were too much to handle, and it felt like, in fact, sometimes unbearable, to the point where I would cry, which was often. Yes, there was a normal name calling, like crybaby, weirdo, or the slang term for donkey, which I shall not say on this essay. It's the non-normal ones that got to me, if you want to call it that. These names were beyond hurtful. I would be called the following: a sped, which is a derogatory name for a special needs student, along with other hurtful terms like retard, dumb F, etc., to the point where it made me feel like a disgrace. On Monday, right after I got home from school, my dad almost immediately walks in. He was on the phone with someone talking about how my grades have been slipping. My first instinct was to hide under my bed and not come out of the covers. But he would go on to say, however, about what the teachers from my previous school would say about me. And then he said I wouldn't make it and succeed in life because of my disabilities. What my dad didn't know was I was hearing everything else the bullies were telling me at my school, except for the disabilities part. He would continue on to say, I don't believe in what they're saying. I have faith. Even though that meant a lot, I would still get hurt verbally by the bullies at my school. It was to the point where I finally said, at the end of my 8th grade year, what's the point anymore? On the day before last day, I actually got into a fight with one of the kids, and it made his nose bleed after kneeing him. I felt so bad after the fight because I injured the kid. If I had the opportunity to correct that mistake, I would most definitely do it. On the final day of being at Adams, I couldn't wait until I got out of there. The fact is, even though the teachers were nice to me, I wished for acceptance from the other kids. My only real friends were down in Miss Stark's room, but even they suffered the brunt of this. To be quite frank, I felt very disappointed in myself and in others. And filled with uncontrollable anger, I snapped at the teachers in the main office on the last day before I left for good. When I first came here to the Weymouth High School, I thought the bullying was going to continue, and it would have been worse before in Adams. On top of all that mess, I didn't know where I was going to go, and I didn't know what classes I had. Lucky for me, someone came into my homeroom and told me that I'm going to help you find your way around here today. I was ecstatic that I had someone helping me. Her name is Mrs. Martell, and she is a paraprofessional here at the school. Not only did she help me find my way to all my classes, but she also helped me get my work done when I needed it the most. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have made it through my first term. Sooner rather than later, I was feeling great about myself. And I was seen as the teachers as a hard worker. It was then I realized that it's not about the grades you get. Rather, it's about how much you learn and how hard you work. If I didn't have Miss Martell showing me that, I might have never seen that. During that same time period, freshmen and sophomores were scheduled for an assembly for second and third period. At first, I thought it was just a regular school assembly. However, it was anything but. It was about this girl, Rachel Scott, and the incidents that happened in Columbine in 1999. From the beginning, it started out as any normal presentation would. But then, it would soon start to hit home as they showed video of the Columbine shooting. As the presentation went further and they showed videos of the girl, Rachel, it really started to hit home. They would talk about how she would befriend everybody and how she stood up against bullying. How she touched hundreds, if not thousands of hearts. Hell, even stopped a kid from committing suicide due to bullying. They showed a picture of her essay entitled, "My Ethics, My Codes of Life." As the presenter went over what she wrote in her essay, I was uplifted to know that she wouldn't judge anybody and that she was a leader for her school for the better. As I then started to choke up, before I could blink, they popped up a picture of her hands that she outlined when she was 13 years old, and they said inside them, "These hands belong to Rachel Joy Scott, and will someday touch millions of people's hearts." It doesn't say they could. It doesn't say maybe. It says that they will. I was absolutely blown away when I saw that. It was like she knew what was going to happen. Throughout the whole presentation, I tried not to cry due to my fear of embarrassment. But when I was looking around the auditorium, almost everyone there was crying, and if not, were stunned. Nothing would hold me back at that point. I would cry uncontrollably without a care in the world about embarrassment. The presentation made me realize that if people bully you, you have the will and power to just hold your head up high and keep moving. Yet at the same time, defend those you know that have been bullied and tell the right people what's going on. Another thing is to show kindness to that person who has been bullied or has even been the bully. There were a lot of lessons I learned during that day, but the presentation was far from over. The presenter told us that there would be a 6th and 7th period assembly for anybody who wanted to sign up. I ran down as fast as I could. As the wind from running dried up my tears, I jumped and became the first person to sign up.